The buzzing sound came late. Too late for anyone who wasn't a parent, a student, or someone carrying too much on their mind to still be awake. Lila had just placed Noah's tiny Avengers blanket back over his little legs. He had tossed it away again, muttering something half-dreamed about flying and ice cream. She smiled softly, brushed his forehead with the back of her fingers, and gently closed his door. It was a nightly ritual now, checking that he was safe, warm, breathing, peaceful. Her phone lit the hallway wall with a pale glow. Unknown number. She frowned. At 11:42 p.m., only one kind of person contacted her unexpectedly. Someone bearing bad news. She wiped her hands on her pajama pants, took a steady breath, and opened the message. Ms. Richards, we need to speak. There are concerns you should be aware of. Please, do not ignore this message. Michael D. Grant, Family Law Office. Her heart dropped. The lawyer. Not her lawyer, their lawyer. Micah's family's lawyer. The one they used for every custody discussion, every threat masked in politeness, every sudden concern they presented like a verdict. Lila stood in the hallway frozen, staring at the text as if the words might rearrange themselves into something less ominous. This is not an emergency, but you should know that certain statements have been made about an unfamiliar male around your son. Please call when possible. A chill ran down her spine. Unfamiliar male. Only one person that could be. John. Her chest tightened instantly. That night, the laughter, the easy comfort, the surprising warmth had left her floating. But she had floated in private, quietly, secretly, because she knew the world she lived in. She knew Micah's family. She knew the rules they played by. And she knew that any joy she found would be examined under a microscope. She clicked the lock screen off and leaned against the hallway wall. The house was quiet, except for the soft hum of the fridge and Noah's faint breathing through the door. But inside her mind, a storm was already gathering. Sunday evenings were always transition days. Noah returned from his visit with Micah's family carrying stories, questions, and sometimes subtle messages wrapped inside reminders. Grandma said you should cut my hair a little more. Uncle Trevor said I shouldn't eat too much sugar. Daddy said you work too hard, sometimes innocent, sometimes loaded, and sometimes worrisome. But this time, the words came different. Noah had crawled into the backseat that afternoon, humming happily, swinging his legs, munching the snack they always gave him. Mommy, I told Grandma about Mr. John. Her grip on the steering wheel had tightened. Oh, yeah, I told her he gave me that blue balloon from your birthday. Grandma said, who is that? And I said, he's your friend. He giggled at his own excitement, oblivious to the landmine he'd just stepped on. And what did Grandma say after? She said, interesting. Then she said I should tell Daddy too. So I did. Lila's stomach clenched again at the memory, and now, hours later, the lawyer had texted her. There were eyes everywhere, watching her, judging her, waiting for her to make one wrong move. She walked slowly to the couch, sat down, and let the weight of it settle. They knew about John. And not because she had told anyone, not because she had introduced him to Noah, not because anything inappropriate had happened. Just a balloon, just a mention, just a child being honest. And now they wanted to interrogate her about it. She dialed the lawyer's number with trembling fingers. Ms. Richards, thank you for calling back. Is everything okay? I'm contacting you as a courtesy. There has been concern raised regarding a man your son mentioned. Given your custodial arrangement, Micah's family wanted clarification. Clarification? About what? About this man's role in Noah's life. What role? John is just a friend. I haven't even introduced him to Noah properly. Well, the family is wondering if this friendship is romantic, and if this individual is spending time around the child. They believe they have a right to know. Lila closed her eyes slowly. A right to know. Micah, the man who had left her to raise Noah alone, the man who barely contributed emotionally, mentally, or financially, except on his terms, he apparently had a right to know. Micah's mother, who had scrutinized Lila since the moment Noah was born, now apparently had a right to know. Lila swallowed hard. Is this a threat? No, Ms. Richards, not a threat. But consider this a warning. They're watching closely. The word warning cut deeper than the rest. She thanked him curtly and hung up. Then she buried her face in her hands. Should she pull away from John? Should she pretend there was nothing there? Should she silence whatever feelings were blooming? Should she give up even the idea of happiness to avoid the wrath of Micah's family? They had tried before. They had pushed before. They had intimidated before. And they knew exactly how to apply pressure. Not directly, but through Noah. Custody, visitation, court filings. Always the same chess pieces. Always the same tactics. And she was so tired of playing defense. Lila wasn't foolish. She'd lived enough life to know that love was not innocent. Love had consequences. Love brought vulnerability. Love could be taken from her. And she wasn't sure she could survive another heartbreak. Micah had been her first real love. Bright, intoxicating, free. He had given her Noah, yes. But he had also given her wounds that still ached. Micah's family had given her judgment, control, superiority, constant reminders that she was someone they tolerated, not someone they respected. So how could she allow anyone else into her heart? How could she open a door when she had only just rebuilt the walls? John had been gentle, patient, unassuming. That night out hadn't been a date, not really. It was just two people escaping stress, laughing, eating good food, forgetting responsibility for a moment. But the way he looked at her, the way he listened, the way he celebrated her birthday without making it feel complicated, it felt real in a way she didn't expect. And that scared her more than anything. She curled her knees to her chest, trying to still her thoughts. Could she risk it? Could she risk Micah's family twisting her happiness into a weapon? Could she risk Noah being used to control her again? Could she risk letting herself fall? By midnight, she was pacing. Every possible future played like a movie in her mind. Scenario 1. She pulled away from John. Life continued quietly. No scrutiny, no accusations, no storms. Just peace. Or what passed for peace when she was alone. But John would know she had retreated. He would know she was choosing fear over possibility, and she would know it too. Scenario 2. She told Micah's family nothing. Let them speculate. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. That would be independence, but also risk. They could push harder, maybe even file for changes in custody. It wouldn't be the first time. Scenario 3. She took the chance. She allowed herself to explore what was happening with John. She let herself fall. The most dangerous option. The one that required bravery, faith, boundaries, trust. And trust did not come easy to her anymore. But she remembered the feeling of that night. The ease, the laughter, the warmth. And her heart tugged painfully. Was she really supposed to run from something good just because her past was loud? Because Micah's family believed they owned the right to her future? Because fear had been her shadow for so long? She sank onto the edge of the couch, staring into the quiet living room, where Noah's toys were scattered in their usual evening chaos. She looked at his favorite stuffed elephant, lying on the carpet, its ear bent awkwardly. Noah was her world, her reasons, her strength, and her weakness. Everything she did was for him, which meant the question wasn't really, should she fall in love again? The real question was, could falling in love put Noah at risk? And that question tore her apart. She went into Noah's room again. She couldn't help it. She needed to see him. He slept deeply, hands tucked under his cheek, his curls messier than ever, one sock missing, completely unbothered by the politics of adults. Completely unaware that his grandmother saw threats in balloons and stories, completely innocent in saying John's name like it was nothing. And in that innocence, Lila saw the truth. Noah wasn't afraid. Noah wasn't confused. Noah wasn't harmed. Noah wasn't burdened. They were the ones using him as a battlefield. She exhaled shakily. This wasn't about John. This was about control. Micah's family didn't want her to fall in love again. Not because they cared about Noah's well-being, but because an independent Lila, a happy Lila, a supported Lila, was harder to intimidate. She brushed Noah's curls gently. I won't let them use you. I won't let them decide my heart. Her voice trembled, but didn't break. "And I won't let fear choose my future." The revelation settled into her bones, like a quiet fire. She may not have chosen John yet, but she knew she was done letting Micah's family dictate her life. Back in the living room, she sat down, steadied her breath, and opened her phone. Her finger hovered over John's name for a long time. Then she typed, "Hi, John. Can we talk sometime this week? Something came up. I think I need to be honest with you about something." She hesitated. Was honesty too much? Too soon? But she pressed send. She wasn't choosing him yet. Not fully, but she was choosing courage. She was choosing clarity. She was choosing herself. And that alone was a step she hadn't taken in a long, long time. Of course, anytime you need. Simple, steady. No pressure, no assumptions. Just openness. Lila closed her eyes, a mix of fear and relief swirling in her chest. John wasn't the storm. Micah's family was, and she realized something powerful. No matter how many eyes were watching, no matter how many whispers, no matter how many tricks, she deserved happiness too, whether that happiness was with John or not. She wasn't going to let fear snatch it away before it even had a chance to bloom. She turned off the lights, headed to her room, and slid into bed. But sleep didn't come easily. Her mind churned, replaying every possibility, every potential conflict, every whispered threat. But underneath all the anxiety, underneath the heaviness, underneath the fear, there was something else. Something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. She pressed her hand lightly to her chest, feeling her heart beating strong beneath her palm. Was she falling again? Maybe. But this time, she wasn't falling alone, and that made all the difference. As she drifted into a light, restless sleep, one thought lingered in the shadows of her mind. If Micah's family was watching her, what would they do next? The storm wasn't coming. It was already here, and Lila would have to decide, soon, whether to stand her ground or let fear make the choice for her.